coming up on ATV News.
I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, but he was not a strong candidate.
The numbers say Joe Biden could be our next president. We'll show you what experts say about it.
It was not just a matter of where we were, it was the trajectory of the program.
USU let go of head coach Gary Anderson. We'll show you who's leading the team until they find a new coach.
COVID testing is going on right now in the TSC, but not for everyone. I'll tell you if you qualify in a live report.
The 4A playoffs are this weekend. We'll show you who's going to the semifinals and who's getting left out in the cold.
Frosty's enjoying this weather. Find out if he's going to chill out or have a meltdown.
All that and more. This is ATV News.
I pledge to be a president who seeks not to divide, but unify. Who doesn't see red states and blue states, only sees the United States.
Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Sarah Murphy.
And I'm John May. Utah State announced that it was letting go of second-year head coach Gary Anderson. USU issued a statement from athletic director John Hartwell saying, after a thorough analysis on the current state of our football team, we believe a change at head coach is in the best interest of our program moving forward. The continued success and development of Aggie football is a priority, and we want to make sure we are regular contenders for the Mountain West Championship. Assistant head coach and co-defensive coordinator Frank Miley will be the interim head coach for the rest of the season. According to John Hartwell, he is focused on the athletes and their success.
As sad as the situation was, we can't do that to the kids, to sit around and mope and point fingers and what could we have done better. We got to move forward to give them a chance to have success.
Coach Miley was also the interim head coach 2 years ago when the Aggies played North Texas in the New Mexico Bowl. After then, head coach Matt Wells left to be head coach at Texas Tech. With Miley in charge, the Aggies won the game 52-13.
It looks like Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. Josh Davis joins us to take a look at how the Associated Press project the final results.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at how Biden clinched his victory. This is a projection for the final turnout for the country. Georgia, North Carolina, and Alaska remain uncalled, but AP projects that the results will remain the same as this map. Last time we checked in, Trump held substantial leads in Pennsylvania and in Georgia, but as mail-in ballots came in and were counted, Biden took the lead in both to seal the deal. I spoke with political science professor Michael Lyons, who watched intently for all the election results last week.
It was a loss for Donald Trump, not a victory for the Democrats. The degree of antipathy that he created within the ranks of virtually every Democrat and a very substantial percentage of independents, the degree of antipathy that he created is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Now, this was a very close election, with 8 states being decided by 5% or less, and Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin being decided by less than 1%. Lyons says that the closeness of this election could lead to an interesting race in 2024.
There's a good chance that there'll be a wide open situation or a competitive situation in the Democratic Party in 2024. And that's a long way ahead. But Republicans looking to 2024 have to think that it could be that there could be good prospects for them to recapture the presidency.
Lyons emphasized the importance of Republicans and Democrats communicating and working together moving forward. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Josh. Have an opinion about the election yourself? Special Collections wants to hear from you. Special Collections is looking for election reflections. The archive will be digitally kept and is meant to accurately capture local points of view for people to look at later on.
We collect a lot of oral histories that document people's actual voices from northern Utah. And this is a way for us to capture those voices right now for future generations.
Duncan says they started recording the reactions back in 2016. She says they're accepting submission until a month from Election Day, and you can access the link via USU Today.
COVID-19 case counts reached record highs this week. In the state of Utah, there were 2,335 new cases, leaving an estimated 41,000 active cases and just under 1,040,000 total cases. In Cache County, there have been 97 new cases with 3,711 estimated people in recovery, and a total of 5,078 total cases. At USU, there were 40 new cases with 330 active cases and 1,270 total cases recorded.
Governor Herbert is calling for a statewide emergency mask mandate as hospitals are reaching capacity. Lisa Feinstein is live in the Taggart Student Center to tell us how the mandate impacts students here at USU.
Yeah, Sarah, so you're going to start at these west doors of the TSC ballroom, and then you're going to make your way through this line with a QR code ready on your phone that you get when you sign up online in advance. You bring your QR code over here, and then Kristen is here to sign your code for you. And then you make your way over to the tables where volunteers are ready to swab your nose. I actually saw President Cockett here just a moment ago helping out. And so they got this up and running today because with the new mandate, students with one or more in-person class need to get tested weekly. A lot of these volunteers are nursing majors, and I talked to a couple of nurses about how all of this impacts them.
Setting up her desk at home, nursing student Allie Elison says the pandemic forced her to work alone.
That's definitely affected us nursing students because we like to study together and collaborate and form study groups, which is very helpful in nursing because it's a collaborative career. Otitis media, which is an ear infection.
While working with flashcards at home alone isn't normal, Elison says most class time is in person.
But having to sit, 6 feet away from your classmates, you don't get as close to them, you don't form the relationships that you normally would with them.
No, I definitely feel robbed, yeah.
Another nursing student says she agrees.
Where there's supposed to be a lot of collaborative work that we're doing, and we haven't been able to do that.
They've already been studying at home and wearing masks, but Governor Herbert is pushing for it now more than ever.
We cannot afford to debate this issue any longer. Individual freedom is certainly important, and it is our rule of law that protects that freedom. Laws are put in place to protect all of us. That's why we have traffic lights and speed limits and seat belts. And that's why we now have a mask mandate.
The mandate has 3 orders. 1, wear masks in public and within 6 feet of those you don't live with. This includes businesses where if people don't wear masks, it could get fined. Number 2, limit social gatherings until November 23rd. And 3, put all extracurricular activities on hold.
I think these measures could have a very significant impact on our cases, but it's really going to be dependent on the community and really engaging with them to really drive down our cases.
It's not the same college experience as without the pandemic, but I think the university's been trying to do a good job to make that more normal, but you can't really make it normal.
They're doing this testing weekdays from 8 to 5 for students only, and they're going to be set up here so you can come walk in or by appointment. We're going to have the information of where you can sign up for a test on our Facebook page. Reporting live from the TSC, Lisa Feinstein, ATV News. Back to you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Utah Highway Patrol is unsure if a woman died from crash injuries or problems medically before the crash. They are waiting for autopsy results from a car crash on Friday night. Medics came out, but she was declared dead on scene. State troopers investigating and witnesses say the driver of the RAV4 drifted left across oncoming traffic lanes and rolled at least once. The driver was wearing her seatbelt, and witnesses say she was going close to the posted speed limit.
Here in Utah, we wear protective equipment to prevent spread of disease. How do fish do it? Eric Price shows you how scientists are helping fish do just that.
Round and round, the mixer goes. Never dizzy from watching solutions mix, this fish health microbiologist loves her job.
I get to live my passion every day. It is super cold.
At -81 degrees Celsius, these samples are here for the long haul. With all these specimens and fancy equipment, might leave you asking,
you do what with fish?
Studying these scurrying rainbow trout, Van Fleet tests for bacteria to make sure their ecosystem remains intact.
So we work really closely with our managers and our fish hatcheries as a team to make sure that those fish are happy and healthy and that people can catch them.
If you catch a fish and want to release it, DWR says you need to put it back where you caught it. If you let it go into another river or lake, you can disrupt the ecosystem by exposing fish to diseases and let in unwanted predators. Miller looks for viruses, bacteria, and anything deemed unsafe for the fish. And if she finds something,
they kill them. Flavobacterium sacrophyllum.
Scientists will say scientist things. But what do they say about the ecosystem here in the community?
All of our fish in Utah so far are healthy, and that's great.
From the feed to the little junipers, if their bellies aren't filled, there won't be any for you to catch.
All the consumers or all the users in the state benefit by the work that we do to support our regions.
Van Fleet says you can't forget about the public stakeholders either.
Without them, people can't fish. But without us, also, people can't fish.
As these junipers scramble away, we're lucky that they stay in good health.
We're very fortunate here in the state of Utah that we do not have very many serious fish pathogens at this time. That doesn't mean that it won't ever happen.
As they work to stock dozens of reservoirs with fish, Van Fleet wants you
to remember that we are working for the public.
Eric Price, ATV News.
The fees you pay for your fishing license help fishery experiment stations like the one you saw keep you and the fish safe. And coming up,
we've had 2 extremely bad winter times over the last 3 years.
Why climatologists say we can't afford to have another warm winter.
And Nathaniel Gillis will tell us more about the weather. The current temperature is 35 degrees. Snowboarders hope for snow every year, but one climatologist says they shouldn't be the only ones. Snow is beginning to fall in the state that claims to have the greatest snow on Earth.
Just going down, I think my first run and seeing, after a good snowfall, how light the snow was and how easy the board glides through it. I definitely knew there was something special.
A winter full of snow is not only good for people who enjoy winter sports, but climatologists say it's also good for the environment.
Cross our fingers that we're going to get a decent snowpack this year because we did not have one at the end of this last winter time, and that exacerbated a lot of the wildfire issues both here in Utah and across the western U.S. in general.
While this is a controlled fire, Myers says wildfires could only get worse.
If we have another winter like we had last year, next summer is going to be we're going to have a lot of tough questions on water resources next summer.
A warmer climate means rain instead of snow. And that won't be good for just skiers and snowboarders.
That collapses the snowpack. You get early melting, and it's not the kind of melt that we want in the hydrology of our infrastructure of canals and dams and river systems. And that's what really put us in a deficit going into the warm season.
Utah's official fire season runs from June 1st to November 30th. Is there more snow on the way? Nathaniel Gillis will tell you in weather.
Welcome to this edition of ATV Weather. I'm Nathaniel Gillis. Looking at the national forecast, we can see over here in about North Carolina up to New York, there's light to mild rain showers going on right now. Currently, Virginia and North Carolina have flash flood advisories going on, whereas Pennsylvania and New York just have those light to mild showers with the yellow representing the mild showers. Sliding down the East Coast, we can look at Hurricane Delta down here. Looking deeper into that, we see Hurricane Delta is currently heading towards Tampa, and then it's going to move up to Jacksonville, Florida. Hurricane Eta, my bad, not Delta, Eta is currently a Category 1 hurricane with wind speeds from 75 to 95 miles per hour. That is roughly how fast most drivers drive on the freeway in Utah. As it moves inland from Tampa to Jacksonville, it is going to slowdown in wind speeds going from about 73 to 35 miles per hour, making it a tropical storm. They currently have a tropical storm warning and hurricane watch. Flooding is expected. Moving back to the national radar, we can look over here on the west coast that there's some low pressure happening in California, but the main area we want to look at is the bottom of Oregon right here. Currently they have a winter watch and high winds warning that's moving in from the west coast. The other low pressure system is here at the state radar in Utah. And looking at the state radar, we can see the low pressure and clouds that have been causing the snowfall from this morning and the on and off snowfall that has been happening throughout the day. Let's take a look at the snowfall. And currently in Logan, we're expecting about 2 to 3 inches over the night into tomorrow. Up here in Garden City is going to be hit the hardest with 3 to 4 inches. And up here at the higher part of the elevation, we can see they're going to get about 12 inches of snow. Let's take a look at how that's going to be currently. We can see a nice snowman here on the quad. Looking at Second Dam, you can see a little bit of snow. And then up at Beaver Mountain, you can see all of that nice snow for skiers and snowboarders. Taking a look at the 7-day, we can see, tonight we have a 70% chance of snow after 8 p.m. That's going in through Friday and Saturday, where we have an 80% chance Saturday, and we're going to most likely have snow all that day. Looking over the weekend, we can see Sunday through Tuesday, the temperature is going to rise from a high of 79 up to 51. You're all caught up on weather. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Cache Valley Veterans Association had an open house today for the first Veterans One-Stop Center of its kind here in Utah. The association is building a place where veterans and their families can get outreach, benefits, health care, and other support.
But we want to make sure our veterans are getting taken care of, and that's the key.
The nonprofit put on a flag ceremony for the veterans where they also put up their own flagpole. They hope to have their building open by January.
We're going to win. So that's what I truly believe in my heart.
What will you see from the Aggies the rest of the season with Gary Anderson gone?
They handle more calls for service on average than any police officers in the city.
How you can help Logan City's animal control ease their workload.
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Robinson Miles. Gary Anderson is no longer the head football coach at Utah State, and he's had a coaching career full of ups and downs. Anderson first became the Aggies head coach leading up to the 2009 season. Overall, he went 26-24 in 4 seasons, including this overtime victory against Utah in 2012, his last season with Utah State, when the Aggies went 11-2. Before the 2013 season, he became the head coach at Wisconsin, where he coached for 2 seasons and went 19-7. The Badgers went into this 2014 Big Ten championship game against Ohio State, ranked number 11 in the country, but lost 59-0. 4 days later, and before Wisconsin's bowl game that season, Oregon State announced that Anderson would become their new head football coach. Later, Gary would say that the switch was because of Wisconsin's high standards for students that excluded athletes he wanted to recruit. Over 2 seasons, Anderson went 7-23 with the Beavers, including this 58-27 loss at Colorado State to start off the 2017 season. Halfway through that season, on October 9th, Gary announced that he was quitting the Oregon State job, leaving behind a $12 million contract. He later attributed the choice in part to conflicts with assistant coaches. Then Utah State hired Anderson back as head coach after he spent 1 season as a defensive assistant coach at Utah. He went 7-6 with the Aggies in his first season last year, following an 11-2 Aggie team the year before. And after a 0-3 start this year, the administration wasn't impressed.
First 3 weeks, other than a snippet here or there, was not Aggie football as we have grown accustomed to.
The most recent loss was Thursday against the Nevada Wolfpack, a game that gave whiplash to the expectations of the Aggie fan base. This safety by sophomore A.J. Vompachon was the first score of the night, and the Aggies followed it with a touchdown pass to Justin McGriff, that put them up 9-0. Then things took a turn. In total, the Aggies gave up 542 yards on defense and 34 unanswered points to the Wolfpack, leading to the end score of 34-9. The high school 4A football quarterfinals were this weekend, and the matchup between Skyview and Cedar sent me back to school. My first class was math. It was a windy night on Friday when Skyview taught me to multiply by 7 by finding the end zone 5 different times, including this 3-yard run by senior quarterback Kason Carlson. My next class, history. Cedar faked a field goal that turned into an interception by senior Isaac Larson, which he ran back 99 yards for a touchdown. It made me think about the past, when I remember him wearing a different set of colors. Larson was a Logan Grizzly last season before switching sides to state champion Skyview. He has played both sides of the ball for both teams, but is committed to play cornerback for Utah State after graduating. My last class was science. This game was a lesson in survival of the fittest. Skyview came in undefeated, and that wouldn't change, with the number 1 seed coming away with a 35-7 victory. Also in a quarterfinal matchup, number 4 Ridgeline took on number 5 Park City. This one went down to the wire, and to show just how intense it was, we're introducing the ATV Stressometer. Both teams' cheerleaders were there for a windy night at Ridgeline. The Riverhawks struck first with a 1-yard keeper by junior quarterback Caden Cox. Park City matched that score with a 9-yard scramble into the end zone by senior running back Seth Warner. In the second quarter, Ridgeline found the end zone first with a 21-yard pass to senior Evan Webb. Then, when Park City was trying to punt it away, sophomore punter Matthew DeMarco couldn't keep his hands on the ball, and it turned into a scoop and score for senior Miles Eck. This made it 21-7 going into the half. Park City came back with a vengeance in the third quarter, starting with a 2-yard run by Miles Warner, his second touchdown of the night. The Miners evened the score with a deep pass to senior Trond Grizel, making it 21-21 to start the fourth. Only 8 seconds into the quarter, a double pass by Ridgeline to senior Jovesa Demouni gave them their first score of the second half. The Miners answered with their own touchdown on a 26-yard pass to senior Troy De La Vega with 9 minutes, 1 second on the clock. Tied up once again, junior running back Noah White muscled his way 4 yards to another 7 points for Ridgeline. Less than 1 minute on the clock later, senior Park City running back Kirby Baines juked and jived his way over 70 yards to tie it up 35-35. Then, with only 7 seconds left on the clock, it was the Riverhawks who made the game-winning score on a pass to Jovesa Demouni, who made the catch and sealed the win for Ridgeline. And he left us with one single word of wisdom after sealing the game for his team. Peace! Let's go, baby, let's go! This is the furthest that the Riverhawks have gone in the playoffs and sets up a semifinal matchup between Ridgeline and Skyview. The Riverhawks could also be undefeated if not for their 17-14 loss to the Bobcats on September 17th. The rematch will happen this Friday at 3 at Skyview High School. That's all the local football news for this week. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Rob. Now, losing your dog can be a scary feeling. Nathaniel Gillis shows you what you can do to have a little more peace of mind.
Puppies lined up in front of the Bridgerland Technical College West campus to get microchipped.
All done there? Yep. Okay.
Clients filled out paperwork to register their dogs with help from the Logan Police Department.
Yep.
Receptionists verify the information, make sure they have the rabies shot, and give the dogs the green light to be taken by staff.
It's okay.
One aspiring veterinary student calms and comforts the dog while the other student grabs the needle to insert the microchip. Organizers say these microchips will bring peace of mind to owners, and it helps the students who are learning as well.
It's great because the students are learning and then they're doing a service at the same time for the public.
And then after they're done microchipping, they just scan it to make sure it's there.
Wow, good
Officials say about 180 dogs are impounded a year in Logan City. Logan City police say microchipping your dog makes it easier for officers to bring your dog home and saves time. Dogs too young to get a rabies shot were taken outside to get microchipped. Officials say it's nice to know you can return the dogs to the owners directly.
Maybe one day when we run out of chips, we'll end this. But until we run out of chips, here we are.
Nathaniel Gillis, ATV News.
Normally, microchips cost $45, but with the uptick in stray dogs, Logan Police lowered the cost to $10.
Thanks for watching this edition of ATV News. You can find previous editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with some shots at the Logan Fisheries Experiment Station.